Hello everybody, I'm Grant Fluff from Fletcher Sports Zone. Welcome back to another YouTube video. That's been a long time since I've said that. This is actually my first video I'm filming since the official Jaguar Gator 9 interview. Man, it's been a while. It's been almost 2 weeks since the last time I filmed a video. In fact, I think today is 2 weeks since the last time I've uploaded a video on this channel. I filmed a Power Skate episode and I filmed an Around the Diamond episode, but not on my actual channel. So I figured, while today was the MLB trade deadline, I'll go recap some of the stuff I posted on my Instagram, and I'll kind of take make my takes on some of the trades. I'm absolutely devastated about Christian Vasquez going to the Houston Astros, and I am absolutely jaw-dropped that Juan Soto is now a San Diego Padre, as you can now tell by the thumbnail of this video. So yes, I'm filming live in Dean College. This is a college that I will be, moving into a month from today, actually, September 2nd. But before I show that, I just want to quickly recap how the sports broadcasting camp is going so far. So basically, again, Dean College is in Massachusetts. We actually had the awesome chance to commentate a Cape Cod baseball league today, actually last night. We had the chance to go out and commentate one of those games. Me and three other of my buddies here commentated the fifth and sixth inning, and that was a lot of fun. And tomorrow we are commentating an actual AAA baseball game between the Worcester Red Sox versus the Durham Bulls. And I'm just going to kind of give you little tips here if you want to get ready for a true professional baseball podcast. All right. Now, I was taught if you think you're gonna be on air for an hour, which I do think I'll be on air for roughly an hour tomorrow, you're supposed to do about 2 hours of preparation. Well, I'm filming this video right after I just finished my 2 hours of preparation. Found the rosters, and here are all of the game notes I have so far found. And again, this is just information for broadcasting at most 2 innings. Remember, if you want to be an aspiring sports broadcaster, that's great, but you got to make sure that you got to put in the work if you want to make it. So yeah, just a little update on what I'm doing there. Pretty cool opportunities. Again, thank you to Dean College, and most importantly, the Dean College Sports Broadcasting Director, John Rook, for giving us this wonderful opportunity. But without further ado, let's get into the trade deadline. Now, I'm going to quickly recap the trades that happened before the deadline, like this one right here. Luis Castillo going to the Mariners for 5 players. I thought Castillo was having a way better season than I originally thought until I remembered that he played on the Cincinnati Reds. He did make the All-Star game this year, which is absolutely awesome, but he's only 4-4 in 14 games. He's pitched 85 innings and has 90 strikeouts. He has produced pretty good numbers, and the Mariners have certainly made use out of him. He's yet to make his Seattle debut. I don't know, maybe that's going on tonight. I'm not really paying full attention there, but I do think that trade will ultimately work out for the Mariners. Right now, Seattle is in that AL wildcard race, and if knowledge serves me right, I don't really think the Mariners did much else during the deadline. I know they made a couple extra moves like acquiring Jake Lamb, but that's minor stuff. Unless I get to one here. And again, I'm only recapping the news I had time to post on my Instagram, which, by the way, Fletcher Sports Zone 2 if you want to. And follow the Around the Diamond podcast. My buddies Lennon and Drew starting up a brand new baseball podcast. I was just on there last week. Anyway, make sure, again, you'll follow the accounts. But, yeah, I think Castillo is a good option for the Mariners because they need better pitching, especially starting pitching. They're pretty fine in the hitting core. So might as well pick up a pitcher, and they did a nice job of picking up Luis Castillo. All right, moving on to David Peralta, getting traded to the Rays in exchange for prospect catcher Kristen Sedura. So let me see here. So David Peralta, I think he's already made his Rays debut. He's played in one game, 4 plate appearances, and hey, well, he had a single. Not bad, I guess. This season, he only has 2 home runs to 12 RBIs and 278 at bats with Tampa Bay. With Arizona before getting traded to Tampa Bay. Yeah, he was struggling for a while. He was pretty good for a couple of seasons. Never made an All-Star game, but he was just consistent. Like last year and in 2015, he led the league in triples. He had a career high in 2015 with 144 hits. Last year, he had 126. This year, just 70. He's probably going to reach around the 90 mark before the playoffs begin. At least that's what I would guess. I don't know. We'll see how Peralta does there. And I guess a little non-baseball news, but rest in peace, Bill Russell. Very unfortunate he passed away Sunday morning. All right, we'll move on to Josh Hader. All right, so this was the first mind-blowing trade. All right, this happened Monday morning, the day before the trade deadline. Padres give up outfielder and 3 pretty solid prospect pitchers. I'm sorry, man. That's my buddy Sutton. He's a huge Brewers fan. And, he was not happy with this trade, and honestly, neither would I. The Padres are in contending mode right now. Milwaukee, last I checked, was leading the NL Central, and I'll quickly check that there. I know the Cardinals are pretty close to them if Milwaukee is leading the division. Yeah, so Milwaukee is up by 3 games, 57-46. St. Louis up 54-48 on their record. Okay, so Milwaukee has a 3-game comfort. That's interesting. I don't know really what these prospects have in store. I know Hader's having a bit of a down year, going 1 for 4 in 37 games. He has allowed 26 hits in 34 innings, but he still has 59 strikeouts. He's still made the All-Star game this year. He's still made 4 All-Star games in the past 5 seasons. I don't really understand why you would get rid of Josh Hader. It definitely feels like, no pun intended, they're starting to hate on his play. Really ridiculous move here. I mean, again, I understand that you get 3 really solid pitching prospects, and that's obviously fine. But I probably would have waited for the offseason to make this move. And, man, as for San Diego, obviously this is just the beginning of things to come, just showing how desperate San Diego is trying to leapfrog the Dodgers in the NL West. Will it work? I don't know. But regardless, we will move on to the Athletics. Yeah, we kind of sensed that Oakland was going to have a little fire sale, and they do trade 2 pitchers to the Yankees, Frankie Monteris and Louis Trevino, in exchange for 4 pitchers, J.P. Sears, Ken Walichuk, Cooper Bowman, and Luis Medina. So, I think the main pitcher here is Monteris. I mean, the other one isn't bad, Trevorino, but I think Monteris is the meat of the trade here, and definitely makes sense why. He's already pitched in 104 innings, has 109 strikeouts on the season. Last year, he led the league in games started with 32. He's had a pretty good season. 109 strikeouts, a 118 ERA plus. One of the very few. He was ranked 6th in the Cy Young American League last year in voting. One of the just absolutely slim bright spots on that Athletic team. Yeah, he was definitely the meat of the trade. And, I know we're going to get into this deal later, and I know a lot of Yankee fans are upset, trading away Montgomery to the Cardinals for Harrison Bader. Again, we'll get to that trade later on. But, you've also massively improved in the pitching. I know you didn't want to necessarily make a move, but again, we'll get to it later. You needed to fill in a hitting position once you got rid of Joey Gallo. So, what do you do there? I think the Yankees, you have to get a great player to trade a great player. It's kind of like that situation. Not everyone's going to be lucky and, just trade a bunch of prospects and get a star player. And that's not going to be the case. It was the case here. You trade away a bunch of prospects to get a nice player, but then you had to give up a nice pitcher just a day later. Trey Mancini going to the Astros. Pitcher Jaden Murray so basically Mancini and Murray going to the Astros. I don't know why it was a three-way trade with Tampa Bay, but I guess it was. Used to receive pitchers Seth Johnson and Chance McDermott, and Tampa Bay received outfielder Jose Siri. And if I'm not mistaken, Jose Siri was very, very good with the Astros during last year's playoffs where they lost to the Braves. Yeah, in postseason hitting, he had 6 at-bats. He only had 1 hit. It was an RBI, and he had a stolen base. That's what it was. He has speed to him. Yeah, 27 years old. I'm kind of surprised he's just getting going in the major leagues. I think on a team like Tampa Bay, he's probably going to get more playing time because Tampa Bay loves to, get younger, cheaper players. So I think Siri does fit better in the Rays system. I don't really know much about the players that the Orioles picked up. I think they were just prospects. But I will say about Trey Mancini, man, what a powerful story that is. Coming back from, his cancer situation to make the All-Star game, to compete in the home run derby. This year he has 95 hits, 10 home runs, batting .268, doing a very good job on that Orioles team that, finally, for the first time since 2016, they're not in the basement. They're actually ahead of the Red Sox last I checked. And last I checked, the Red Sox were also losing to the Astros tonight, so it looks like it's going to stay that way for another day. 95 hits, 16 doubles, 1 triple, 10 home runs, 41 RBIs. That's pretty impressive stuff right there. An OPS of 114. Nice. Oh, I'm filming. What's up? This is Harrison. He wants to make an appearance.
Oh, what's up?
There you go. You're on Fletcher Sports Zone.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. Yeah, Harrison's done a nice job. Was also commentating the Cape Cod League game with me on Monday and doing the Blue Sox game tomorrow. Awesome roommate, awesome guy. Glad he was able to make an appearance. All right. Now on to the trade that absolutely devastates me. Oh, Christian Vasquez, one of my probably my favorite catcher in the MLB without a question. Won a World Series. He hit the game-winning home run in Game 3 of the 2021 playoffs against Tampa Bay. That gave Boston the 2-1 series lead and really shifted the momentum of that series to eventually win in 5. This sucks. As a guy who's been really paying attention to the Red Sox since about 2017, that's when Vasquez became the big name. He entered in the league in 2014, but it was really 2017 where he became a full-time starter, and he played in 99 games, which at the time was his career high. And then he just continued to get better. And in 2019, I think, is when he broke. He had 23 home runs to 72 RBIs. 2019 was the year that that this guy was meant to stay in the professional level, and indeed he did. He absolutely did. But and even in 2021, 118 hits. This year, 83 hits, 33 runs. He has not hit a home run this year, but that's okay because he's a catcher. He's not supposed to hit home runs. And he's also fantastic behind the plate also. Now, I think Kevin Plawecki is going to do a great job. He has been a very solid backup to Vasquez for the past couple of years, but he isn't Vasquez. This is a guy that just showed up every day. And, even if he was going through a dry spell, he still loved coming to the ballpark, and he always appreciated the fan base. Like, say what you want. Vasquez looks absolutely devastated when he first heard the news that he got traded from Boston. And then, I wish I could pull up his Instagram post. Yeah, emotional reading that thing. He loves the city of Boston. He is a pending free agent, so maybe he will come back. He probably won't. But how about that, though? The Astros picking up Vasquez and Trey Mancini. Vasquez, one of the better catchers on the market. Houston, a team pretty much in need of catcher help. They get that guy. And again, I think right now we're looking at an Astros-Yankees ALCS. And wow, that's gonna be a pretty remarkable series if that comes true. All right, the Atlanta Braves re-signed star third baseman Austin Riley to a 10-year, $210 million deal. Well, it's a trade deadline. Why are you talking about an extension? The guy got over $200 million. I think I can talk about it. 119 hits, 29 home runs, 301 batting average this year. Had his first 2 career stolen bases. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, very good season. Made the All-Star game this year, coming off a World Series title last year. Let me quickly look at his playoff stats from last year. Postseason, 25 at-bats, 8 hits. That's for a .320 batting average with 3 RBIs. All right, very solid stuff for Riley. 25 years old, so he'll be 35 by the time the contract expires. Just gotta hope he continues to play consistent until he's at least 34. That's all you can pretty much ask for there. Tommy Pham coming to the Red Sox. He's going to be out in the outfield. So Tommy Pham, I like him as a player, other than that stupid incident he had with the whole fantasy football thing where he punched that new San Francisco Giants player. In his first season with the Reds, he had 57 runs, 81 hits, 11 doubles, and 11 home runs to 39 RBIs. He's had a nice season. He's had a really nice season. He actually finished, wow, I didn't even know this. In 2017 with the Cardinals, he finished 11th in NL MVP voting. You learn something new every day. Yeah, his family almost made the top 10 in MVP voting one year. But anyway, this guy's a pretty good outfielder. Again, when he has his head on straight, he's a pretty consistent baseball player. He's going to get you probably a batting average of around 260 every season. He's currently batting 238. Yeah, I think if the Reds weren't absolutely terrible, he probably would have had that up a little bit higher, near around 340. Yeah, I think Pham's going to do a wonderful job. They just DFA'd Frenchie down to Worcester, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Bam joined the Red Sox for a player to be named later. I think it was a prospect, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really had time to go back and edit these, but yeah, I know there's more to the Vasquez posts that I haven't been able to edit either. I think Boston got 2 prospects for Vasquez, and I think they traded 1 or 2 for Bam. Moving on, if it loads. Chris Boswell getting re-signed. We won't talk about that. We can talk about this, though. Jake Deepman getting traded to the White Sox for catcher Rhys Mcguire. Now, I paid attention to Rhys Mcguire a little bit. He's a name that kind of attracted me once he was on the Blue Jays. I know he was a top prospect with the Blue Jays for a while, and he just never really developed. I mean, in 4 years, he wasn't awful. He had 91 hits. Never hit 9 home runs to 26 RBIs. That's not great. And then this year with the White Sox, after he was traded on a 1-for-1 swap with Zach Collins right before the season, 34 hits and just no home runs to 10 RBIs. It's very lackluster. Now, again, I think Kevin Plawecki is going to be the starting catcher for the Red Sox moving forward, which doesn't really make sense why you trade a decent starter like Deepman for a backup catcher. I mean, I can just quickly look up Milwaukee stats, but he's also younger, so I would also rather start him over Mcguire. Milwaukee is no way. He's older? Wow, I did not realize Milwaukee was 31. But yeah, I mean, 9 runs, 17 hits, 1 home run, just 6 RBIs. I mean, just better base statistics at least. And I think he's a little bit of a better catcher behind the plate. Alfred Beekman, I think he was 1-5 on the season, or rather 5-1, and that's what doesn't make sense to me. You're gonna trade away a pitcher who's 5-1. Yeah, he's 5-1, a 4.23 ERA, 38 innings pitched with 51 strikeouts compared to just 27 hits. Yeah, for a potential backup catcher. I don't know what the Red Sox are trying to do. I think they want to sell, but they're so close to a playoff spot that they just want to wait until the offseason to blow everything up. Hence why guys like Jackie Bradley Jr., J.D. Martinez, Alexander Bogaerts, Nathan Eovaldi, hence why those guys stayed. Because if the Red Sox wanted to sell, they would. I mean, Deepman was one of those pitchers that you just do not trade. He's still got 2 years left on his deal. There was absolutely no reason to trade him. I mean, I was excited because he had a good season last year with the Athletics. In 60 innings pitched, he had 83 strikeouts. I was pretty excited about that. And he had a pretty good season with the Red Sox. And I think it's just unfortunate that you trade him to another AL team that's right there in the wild card. Now, I know the White Sox aren't in the playoffs if it started today, but they are right on the Twins' tail. Yeah, so the Twins are 54-48. The Guardians are 53-50, and the White Sox are 51-51. The Red Sox are 52-52. Why are you giving a solid pitcher to a team that's right next to you in the standings? And you're not getting a top prospect. No. You're getting a failed prospect from the Blue Jays. This isn't rocket science. Again, I followed Rhys Mcguire since he entered the league in 2018. I've covered, I think, 3 of his trades on my time on Instagram. And he's not a fantastic catcher, to say the least. At least, you want to get Rhys Mcguire? Sure. You want to trade Jake Deepman? Sure. But you got to make better offers than this. I think this is an absolute fleece for the White Sox. Unless Mcguire becomes Christian Vasquez 2.0, if Jake Deepman becomes Dallas Keuchel 2.0, okay, you got lucky on this one and you win the deal. But the odds of that happening, very unlikely. All right, what do we got next here? The Braves made 2 trades to end off the day before the draft. Not the draft, the trade deadline. Sending pitcher Will Smith to the Astros for pitcher Jake Odorizzi. I mean, the fan base equally despises both of those pitchers, so I just think that's funny that they kind of did a swap for, fan bases are pretty happy with those moves. And then dealing pitcher Chris Anglin to the Tigers for outfielder Robbie Grossman. Now, I thought Grossman was having a better season than I originally thought, but he's still pretty good. Again, 32 years old. I mean, why not for a playoff run? Spent the past 2 years with the Tigers and has racked up 189 hits, which is so far the second most he's ever had with the franchise. He's also played with the Twins, Astros, and Athletics. Yeah, I remember him most with the Astros and the Twins, but he has been on the Tigers for the past 2 years, and he has been pretty, solid. The 2 home runs isn't great. The 205 batting average isn't, incredible, but 56 hits, 23 RBIs. I mean, this guy will just get you an RBI single, double every here and there. He shows up. And, you need guys like Grossman. You need a veteran like Odorizzi if you're going to continue to go far in the playoffs. Braves trying to repeat as champions. Why not lock up? get a fantastic closer and outfielder while you're at it. All right, this trade is interesting. So George Lopez going to the Twins for, I believe it is 4 prospects. So Lopez, this is interesting because he's a decent closing pitcher. 44 games this season. He's only allowed 30 hits. He has a 54 strikeouts. Yeah, he's only allowed 3 home runs. Yeah, I really don't understand why the Orioles, especially them being literally ahead of the Red Sox right now in the standings, they should be competing. I don't know why they're trying to sell their 52 and 51. Again, I know that's not great, but they're only 3 games back at Tampa Bay. Actually, they're only 2 games back at Tampa Bay heading into tonight. So it really doesn't make sense why you would just trade away your best closer, especially for 4 pitchers that are not really ready for the MLB yet. It's interesting. I feel like the Orioles are kind of like the Red Sox. I think they want to kind of revamp things. Although, again, I don't know why. This has been the Orioles' best season they've had since 2016. I don't know why they would want to try and change anything. But, yeah, I would have kept on to Lopez again. Kind of just like Beekman. I think, if you wanted to trade a pitcher, I think you could have, but you should have waited till the offseason. All right, moving on to, here we go. This is the big one. Nationals sent outfielder Juan Soto, fresh off rejecting a 14-year, $400 million contract, something crazy like that. And first baseman Josh Bell, who he isn't Soto fantastic, but he's still pretty damn solid, to the Padres for Luke Vogt and 5 other prospects. So you have essentially got Luke Vogt, CJ Abrams, and Jarlin Susan. And I don't know much about Robert Hazel, James Wood, and Mackenzie Gore. But I can tell you that Vogt, Abrams, and Susan are probably the best 3 players coming out of that trade for the Nationals. Now, again, I know the Nationals are in hardcore sell mode. They've already won their championship a couple years ago. They're fine with seeing through a rebuild. But, dude, that's rough. I mean, for Soto to reject a huge contract like the one he rejected, and then to just jump ship to, I'm not saying ring chase, because again, he literally has a ring. But the Padres, you knew they were desperate. The Padres have been the number 1 team for Soto for about 2 weeks now. It's pretty much been the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals. Why did you get so little? Now, I know you want to get Eric Hosmer. He rejected the trade because the Nationals were on his no-trade clause. So whatever you throw in Luke Vogt, former Yankee, whatever. You really just got 1 major leaguer back in this deal. I think that's crazy. I would have asked for Jay Cronenworth. Potentially the Padres say no. I get what the Nationals are thinking. They are thinking, oh no, we can't lose Soto. We have to trade him and get something instead of just lose him in free agency for literally 0. I understand your thought process, but once Josh Bell was included in this deal, I would be banging on the table for Jay Cronenworth, and I think it is simply embarrassing that you did not get Cronenworth. If I'm just being honest, Nationals, I know the owner won the World Series and he re-signed for a few years, but he may not be getting re-signed again. Again, Soto this year, he won the home run derby. That's right. He has 84 hits, 21 home runs, 246 batting average, and Josh Bell also doing fantastic things. I've liked Josh Bell since his Pirates days. Made an All-Star game back in 2019. He's been with the Nationals since 2021 and has a grand total of 243 hits with the club. And I'm just going to quickly, lastly, look at little Volt stats here. These are the players I only really care about. Now, Volt's 31. I thought he was a little bit younger. 67 hits to 13 home runs and a 225 batting average. Quickly check Jake Cronenworth, man. Yep, 91 hits. And he's way younger at 28. Oh, boy. And he's already made 2 All-Star games. Yep, last year and this year. Wow. Yeah, I would have definitely tried to get Cronenworth. Even if that meant you had to hold on to Josh Bell, I would have still tried to trade. I would have still tried to trade for Cronenworth. Bolt's okay, but I mean, to give up Soto and Bell just for prospects, promising, sure, but I don't agree with that at all. Dolphins and some controversy. All right, Eric Hosmer, Red Sox. I guess we're on his trade clause. And infielder Max Ferguson, outfielder Corey Rozier. Yeah, they were sent to the Red Sox for prospect pitcher Jay Groom. Groom was very good with the Woo Sox, but whenever Boston called him up, he just fell apart. He did nothing. Nothing of note in Boston. Great in Worcester, but did nothing in Boston there. And the funny thing about this is the Red Sox get 2 prospects, a first baseman that is way better than the one they currently got, no offense to Bobby Dalbec. And San Diego will be paying $44 million remaining in Hosmer's contract. You want to know how much cap that saves you right now? Now, granted, I know baseball doesn't have salary cap, but you want to know how much that can get you. That can get you another solid player or 2 in free agency. 44 mil. They're essentially getting Hosmer for free. And they got 2 extra prospects to boot. That's a win by the Red Sox right there. And that's the only thing the Padres have done wrong today, if I'm being honest. All right, Joey Gallo. People want me to shred this man. I'm not going to. 37 hits, 12 home runs, 159 batting average, 24 RBIs. Has he been terrible this year? Absolutely. I think the main reason why Gallo was successful in Texas was because the Rangers were a small market team. Once you train to the Yankees, everyone thinks the Yankees will win the World Series because they got Joey Gallo. Doesn't happen. They lose in the playoffs. And now he's been doing terrible since the start of this year. I have a solution. Trade him to not the biggest market, but the second biggest market. Are you kidding me? If you're the Dodgers, it's a high risk, high reward because you're only giving up pitcher Clayton Beer, who's a solid reliever. But even I think I would take the chance on Joey Gallo potentially bouncing back to his Ranger days, trading up a solid pitcher like Beecher. Not to mention, I think Walker Buehler is coming back before the playoff run also, so that's good news for the Dodgers. But for Gallo, man, this is the make or break. This is the make or break, I think, rest of the season and the playoff run. It really is. I think if he's ever going to win a championship, if he's going to really prove that he belongs on a big market team like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, he's going to have to show it. I do think if he fails, he'll definitely sign a major league contract with a smaller market team. It doesn't have to be a smaller market team. Because when I say smaller market team, we're thinking like the Twins or like the Diamondbacks or the Rays. I'm not necessarily saying that, though I do think he would fit the Rays system. He can still sign with a team like Milwaukee. I think a team where, he could still be a contributor, bat 4th or 5th on that lineup and, rack up, 50 hits and, 40, 50 RBIs a season. Gallo just does that for the rest of his career. It's not going to put him in the Hall of Fame, but he'll at least have a pretty solid, ending to his career. With Gallo being 28, I'm not giving up on this guy yet. I'm really not, but I do think his time with the Dodgers will determine, will teams like the Dodgers want to re-sign him? Will teams like the Red Sox want to pick him up? Will teams like another big market team, St. Louis Cardinals would want to pick him up? I don't know. we'll have to wait and see on that. But I think Gallo will do at least a little bit better with the Dodgers. Will he do fantastic? Probably not. But we'll see how it goes. Marlins have to fix that. Marlins have traded pitchers Anthony Bass and Zach Pop and a player to be named later to the Blue Jays for infielder Jordan Grosjean. That's a solid trade. So the Blue Jays improved drastically in the pitching game. And you get two young pitchers. Miami, they've been rebuilding for a while. I guess other than 2020, I don't think the rebuild's really gone anywhere. Oh, Rafael Dover hits a RBI 1-1. All right. But anyway, I don't know what to think of the Marlins because everyone thought they were on the right track after making the playoffs in 2020. Again, I know that was the shortened season, but they still made the play-in round, right? Beat the Cubs for losing to, I think it was the Braves, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know what's wrong with the Marlins. They're not really getting better. They were getting better, and then they just kind of plateaued a little bit. Jazz Chisholm's been injured. Garrett Cooper has been playing as expected. I just think the Marlins are going to be a little bit better next year than they have been this year. But this trade makes sense. As for Toronto, this wasn't the last trade Toronto made, but I think it will be a good one for the bullpen. All right. Jonathan Lucroy retired. All right, we can move on to the next one. Cubs trade closing pitcher David Robertson to the Phillies for pitcher Ben Brown. I think Ben Brown's a younger pitcher. David Robertson's been around. I think he's 35, 36 years old. I think the Phillies, they were another team that needed to improve on pitching if they wanted to stay in the wild card race. They're kind of like the Mariners right now in the NL. Great, fantastic hitting core. They can use a little bit better pitching if they want to try to be a threat in the playoffs, and that's exactly what they're trying to do right now, acquiring Robertson. All right, this trade doesn't make sense to me. The Mets are my favorite team from the National League, so I am a little upset about this. The Mets trade infielder J.D. Davis and three prospect pitchers, Tommy Zapaki, Nick Zawak, and Carson Seymour, to the Giants for first baseman / outfielder Darren Ruff. I know Darren Ruff's having a little bit of a better season than J.D. Davis right now, but here's the thing. Ruff is 36, and you just traded away a very solid third baseman and three prospect pitchers for a 36-year-old for like one, max two playoff runs. Do I think the Mets could even beat a team like the Braves, the Dodgers, or the Padres in the playoffs? I don't. I think if they played the wild card game against the Phillies, they'd win. I think if they played against Milwaukee or St. Louis, I think they could win. I think once they get to LA, San Diego, I think they get absolutely demolished. If they don't get swept, they lose in 5. I'm being honest there, and I think this trade has done nothing but hurt their future. Reds trade pitcher Tyler Mahle to the Twins for infielders Spencer Steer and Christian Encarnacion Strand. That's a long name. And pitcher Steve Hajar. Three pretty good prospects going the Reds' way. The Twins get a pitcher for their playoff run. Twins have yet to win a playoff game for, I think it was one of the last time they won, 2002, 2003, something like that. This is a pretty even trade for both sides. I mean, obviously, trading Mahle stinks for the Reds. I'm not going to lie. Trading away a solid pitcher like that. But you get three solid prospects, one being a pitcher. You can't really complain. Twins, they get a player they need now for the playoff run. I like it. I like it a lot. And I just will quickly look at Mahle's stats, get Joe Gallo off my screen. Yeah, he's still 27. 5-7 record this year, 114 strikeouts. And he's spent his whole career with the Reds so far, and he has done nothing but success. I'd love to see him finally get a playoff game under his belt. So we'll see how that goes. But I think Mahle will do. I think he'll do fine with the Twins. I'd be shocked if he didn't. All right, Tim Patrick. Moving on to Brent Phillips, the second best two-way player in the league behind Shohei Ohtani. The joke is fantastic because obviously Phillips was a frequent relief pitcher for the Rays when they were in blowouts. But now he gets to take his talents to Baltimore. Cash considerations going the other way. Yeah, the Rays were expected to DFA Phillips yesterday, so the fact they even got cash considerations for him I think is amazing. So bravo on the Rays for doing that, because definitely Phillips is a guy you want to keep around, but you just simply couldn't because, I'll never forget his 2020 playoff, or actually rather World Series hit in Game 4 where, he hits it into right field. The Dodger player gets it, throws it to Will Smith, the catcher, but then Smith loses sight of the ball, and Randy Arozarena slides in from third to home. Still probably the craziest baseball play I've ever seen. I did commentate that game live. Unfortunately, it was on Sportscaster, not YouTube. But, yeah, that was nuts. Angels trade pitcher Noah Syndergaard to the Phillies for outfielders Mickey Monique and Jabril Sanchez. So Syndergaard lasts half a year in Los Angeles. And I was going to the Phillies, where he can go up against his former team, the Mets, quite often. I love Syndergaard, man. I still have my Mets Thor t-shirt. I haven't worn that in a while, but I still have it. It still fits me last I checked. And it's just weird how his time ended in New York. He missed all of 2020 with, I think, a lower body injury or something like that, or some arm injury. And he only played 2 games in 2021. The Mets knew he was talented, but they just didn't want to pay him anymore because he's too injury prone. Goes to the Angels, gives up 75 hits to 64 strikeouts, and now, he's going to try to revive his career and, go with the Phillies. Like I said, I think the Phillies need to improve in their pitching game. They got Robinson, and now they got Syndergaard. I mean, those are 2 veteran pitchers they're going to need for the playoff run. I don't disagree with that at all. The Angels get rid of a player that's, getting a lot of money. They get a couple of prospects for a guy who they knew they weren't re-signing after this year. It's a smart trade for both teams. All right, Jordan Montgomery. Yankees traded that pitcher to the Cardinals for center fielder Harrison Bader. I think the Cardinals definitely won the deal, but Harrison Bader is not terrible. That's the Joey Gallo replacement. Montgomery is going to do fine, I think. I think the Cardinals also got a pitcher from the Pirates, if I'm not mistaken. He is a starter. I'm blanking on his name, and I didn't post about it. But, the Cardinals are they're improving, and they know that, they're behind Milwaukee right now, but they're still in striking distance to pass them with a whole month of the season left. So I give the Cardinals props for trying to go the rest of the way. Whit Merrifield traded to the Blue Jays. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest thing Toronto did today. Without a question, they get second baseman Whit Merrifield from the Royals for infielders Samad Taylor and pitcher Max Castillo. Again, huge trade. Royals, they've been in a rebuild. They haven't done much since winning the World Series in 2015. They've actually been terrible since winning the World Series in 2015. And it's finally time, they got rid of Bennett. It just seems like you sense that the franchise is blowing it up. And that's where Merrifield is out the door for 2 solid prospects. And that was my trade deadline recap. Again, that wasn't every trade, but those were pretty much all the important transactions and trades that went down. Again, make sure you go follow Flusher Sports Zone 2 on Instagram for daily sports news, at least until September, all right? When I start college in September, I have no idea if I'm posting every day. I might just post at night. I just may post a couple posts weekly. I may just leave it to, breaking news only. I don't know. We'll see what the deal is. But, yeah, I can definitely assure you once college starts, I'm going to be posting less and less. But at least while I have the time, I still want to advertise daily sports news on the Instagram. But I hope you guys enjoyed this very abrupt video. I did not think I was going to be able to make a video during my weekend sports broadcasting camp. But here we are. We managed to fit one in about the MLB trade deadline. And maybe tomorrow, if people are interested, we'll do a Hall of Famer All Good. If not, if I don't film again tomorrow night, then you probably won't see another video from me until I'm back in the comfort of my own home. But yeah, I know. What's up, two people? I hope thanks for stopping by. I'm just about to end it. But yeah, no, the Twins made a nice trade. I really like the trade they did with the Orioles today, especially. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. I'm Grant Fluff from Fletcher Sports. I'm saying enjoy the rest of your evening and go Red Sox. Don't sell until the off season. Try to make the playoffs.